Yo, what up, everyone? Today I'm making a video on a bit of a hero area data. So I found one of them overnight, and I have data from close to 7 hours of AFK farming. Uh, I just wanted to see how many of these regular drops you can get from killing monsters in the hero area. These will not include any quest rewards as I'm only focusing on the drops from the mobs, and before doing them last week, these two quests were cleared, so there is no interference with them at all. And these drops will be purely from the mobs. And yeah, for testing, I found Florence area. The exact area I found was right after entering the dungeon. I just went a few steps where the mobs start spawning and left it on order in an empty lobby. Of course, I don't know how many people joined the same lobby overnight, but before starting, I left it in a zero-player lobby. So I think for the most part, the mobs that were there were only killed by me. It would be hard to say how many of them were killed by others overnight, but I don't suspect that the drops will be changed too much. And yeah, in total, I've timed it and it was 399 minutes, or if we translate it to regular time, it's 6 hours and 39 minutes. And all of the drops I've gotten today are converted to hourly rates and rates per minute, so you can compare it and see whether AFK farming them is something you want to do. Perhaps you farm the regular units not in the hero area and want to transition into farming them in hero area. So yeah, there are a few main drops you get from the hero area. So first of all, they are legendary runes. So from the Florence one, you can get Swift and Guard runes. You can also get water and gravestones, but those mostly drop from mini bosses. So whether you get them or not will be very random actually. And you might not get any, you might get quite a bit. For my runs, I did get some, so I'll include them as well. Uh, the main drop is of course the magical rune piece, as well as regular gold. And you can also get tough leather and altar leather from the mini bosses. So tough leather comes from these these last three, so the werewolf, grooming, and master yeti. While the legendary tier leather comes from the Baphomet boss. But if you are farming AFK, there's a very low chance you are gonna do the Baphomet. You might be able to solo some of the mini bosses, and it seems like I may have done some while AFK farming, since I did get some engraved stones. But yeah, jumping on to the data itself. So in total, I have received two legendary runes. I've gotten 42,669 gold. I've received 26 of these water and gravestones, and mind you that these did not come from a quest, as I made sure that the story is cleared and that this quest as well as this quest was not completed, or rather, this quest was already completed, and this one I did not complete after waking up. So these engraved stones did not come from the quest and were actually mob drops. And in total, I've received 20,000, not 20,000, 12,715 rune pieces. So if we convert these to hourly values, you can on average expect 0.3 legendary runes per hour. So that means that you will be getting one legendary rune per 3 hours and 20 minutes. Of course, this will depend on the team that you are using. The team I used looked something like Bastet, Akamamir, and the Wind Martial Cat. Of course, she doesn't have runes now, but she had Karambit's runes, I think. So Bastet, two wind damage dealer units, and of course Mike Leaf with the wind element. This was mostly done because the hero area has the bonus for wind element, so you do triple damage and take a little more than third less damage from monsters. So yeah, I'm gonna open up the view so it's easier to view. Okay, so per hour, you can expect around 0.3 legendary runes. That means one rune every 3 hours and 20 minutes. Gold, as far as gold goes, I have received on average around 6,416 gold per hour. Then jumping over to the materials, I have received on average 3.91 of these water and gravestones, so close to 4 stones per hour. And I have received 1,912 magical rune pieces per hour. And of course, if we want to go even deeper, I've converted these to minute values, as for some people, they do like to time their AFK drops every few minutes. So this will allow you to get a little the comparison a little easier. So of course, for runes, since you only got 2 runes, the drop rate is 0.005 per minute, so very insignificant. And these are mostly RNG, so you may get none, you may get like 5 runes. Definitely depends a lot on the RNG, so don't take this value too much into account, as the legendary runes are purely RNG drop. It's mostly mostly you're gonna be looking for the engraved stones as well as rune pieces and gold. And jumping over to gold, so per minute on average you have received 107 gold per minute. As for engraved stones, it looks like it is 0.065 water engraved stones per minute. And for the rune pieces, I have received 31.87 rune pieces per minute. So yeah, farming overnight, I guess I want to answer whether it's worth it or not. So first of all, what can you do overnight if you do plan on leaving the game? So one of the options is the hero area, of course. There you will mostly be getting decent chunks of gold as well as these magical rune pieces. You can also leave the game AFK in any of the areas and farming regular creatures. These will mostly be for some crafting materials. Or you can also leave your game overnight fishing, since fishing material gathering is completely AFK as long as you buy. I'd say overnight you might need like a couple thousand baits to go through the night. Those baits do require gold, so whether it's worth it for you or not depends entirely on which materials you prefer to gather. But yeah, for that, the rune pieces are mostly used for rune crafting. And if we're looking at the rune crafting cost, of course, I'm gonna go for the mystery runes right here, as the selective runes do require these materials, and if you only farm one area, you will have trouble getting materials for the other area unless you farm both of them. For me, I feel like these mystery runes are more than enough, and from what you can see, one rune costs 8,000 magical pieces and 200 enhancement stones. So these are not a problem at all. As long as you farm a few runes a day, you will have plenty of these enhancement stones. As you can see, I have 23,000, and I think I have even more in storage. As for these, they cost 8,000, and over 6 hours 40 minutes I have received 12,700. So on average you can expect to craft one rune every like 4 hours as far as the magical rune pieces go. So if we're looking at it that way, if you farmed AFK for the whole day, so 24 hours, you are potentially looking at getting around 7 to 8 legendary runes from regular drops, as well as crafting around, let me see, yeah, around 6 of these from crafting. So if you are AFK'd, the hero area, any of the areas actually, as the drops seem pretty similar, for 24 hours or the whole day, you're essentially looking at around 13 to 14 legendary runes. So definitely decent drops, but they do require a lot of AFK time, and that means during that AFK time you cannot do much other than stuff that is order, so like quick battles in arena or stuff like that. And yeah, I hope this data helps you out, as I know this is a new area and people might be interested in the exact rates of what you get. Some of you maybe haven't even unlocked it, and with this data, perhaps this will motivate you or will demotivate you actually to unlock it, as I know that these drops definitely don't seem too great compared to a lot of the dungeons that you can do, but as for AFK farming, this is something you do after you are done with all of your dungeons or daily entries, so this is just sort of an extra stuff, and it will hopefully it helps you decide whether you want to do it or not. And yeah, thanks for watching and see you in the next one.